What's up guys, Mrwhosetheboss here, and I'm super excited to bring you this video. It's one of my most requested of all time. So we're going to cover all the different gear I use to film these awesome videos. Let's get started. So the camera I use is the Panasonic Lumix GH4, which is fantastic by the way, but I've already covered that in a separate video, so let's talk about the machinery behind the camera. So let's kick things off with the slider, and in place here I've got the iFootage Shark S1, which is hardly cheap by the way, but it's made entirely out of carbon fiber, and considering its size, it's actually surprisingly light and sturdy. On top of that, the motion over it is just incredibly smooth. It allows you to take shots like this, which you just pretty much couldn't do otherwise. So right on top of that, we've got the X2 motion kit. Now these two are actually sold together or separately by the company, and if you buy them as a bundle, it's known as the S1A3 motion controlled system. So as you probably guessed by the absolutely gigantic battery on the end of it, that this is entirely motorized. There's a little antenna, and this is a receiver for the wireless controller. And speaking of the controller, it's pretty much one of the coolest little pieces of kit I own. It's incredibly well built. The software inside of it is built from the ground up to work with this piece of kit. And you can control pretty much everything. There's automatic mode, so for example you could set the camera to move in a certain direction for a certain amount of time at a certain speed, or you could go full manual and just do it your own way. Whilst right now this probably just sounds like a bit of a faff, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities. Being able to stand further away from the subject because of your wireless controller, being able to move along a slider, pan and tilt at the same time lets you take shots that are nothing like what you would have without. Unfortunately, it doesn't come without its struggles. With a system so robust, you also have to have equivalent tripod heads and the tripod to support it all. And for this one, I've gone for the Mrwhosetheboss 504 HD. So it's a fluid head tripod. It's one of the most expensive pieces of metal I think I've ever bought, but it's one of the few that can really support the weight and still give you full control over the camera. And then this entire system is held up by the 546B tripod legs, and these are chunky to say the least. Each individual leg, in inverted commas, has 5 legs inside of it, so it gives you ridiculous stability, a huge amount of adjustability. But unfortunately, this entire thing comes at the cost of weight. Putting all these individual parts together, even though on their own each one is optimized to be as lightweight as possible, the whole system is just really heavy. So heavy that you kind of need a 2-man squad to shift it anywhere. And that brings me on to the next part of the video. For areas where I'm obviously not going to take the entire setup, I've got the Velbon DV7000. And no, while you can't do any of that camera wizardry that you could with the entire kit, it does let you still take some very stable pans and tilts. It's pretty adjustable with control over tightness and tension, but more important than anything, the weight to performance ratio on this guy is just off the scale. And it doesn't stop there, because every now and again you're going to want to take a handheld shot, and for that I've got the Zhiyun Crane. Whilst the GH4 camera does have built-in optical image stabilization, using this takes it to a whole new level of stability. It's basically got gyroscopes inside of it, and once you clip your camera onto it, it just lets you take super stable footage, things like this. I've also got a rotating display stand, which is not really, I guess, something meant for tech YouTubers specifically, but I've just found it to be really useful. It lets you take some pretty interesting 360-degree video of your product. And then we have again something pretty handy, something which I definitely recommend for starting out YouTubers. This is the Hague PH Powerhead, and it lets you take motorized video without actually really breaking the bank. It costs just over £100 and it's got a built-in remote inside of it. It's made all out of plastic, but it still lets you take some very stable footage. So guys, there we have it. That's my recording equipment just to even take the videos. We haven't even got started on audio yet. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to smash that like button. And with that being said, I'm Mrwhosetheboss, and I'm signing out.